Hello, beautiful people. Good Thursday afternoon. As always, I am your host, Casey Halpern. I'm thrilled to be joined by my friend, my colleague, Ryan Bornman. Ryan, it's already mid October, which is hard to believe. They've shut the AC off in my building. I'm sweating out here. Uh, but yeah, how you feeling? You're on mute, my friend. Seemingly. Can't hear you. Nothing. All right. Well, while Ryan gets situated, it's pretty crazy to believe that it is already week 7. Goes quick, as Mike Francesa once said. Goes fast. Goes fast. But excited about the game tonight. The matchup between the Unks in prime time is, I think, 40-year-old Joe Flacco faces off against 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. So it should be a doozy. Um, I I have a lean already for tonight on a actual thing on a market, not on the side. But I was going to wait for Ryan to get back, but seemingly his mic is a little wonky at the moment. But I am eyeing the over in this game, as I think that one, obviously, we know the Bengals are just going to chuck the ball across the yard. Um, the Bengals defense is horrible. I think that the Steelers offense will be able to have their way with them. I think that the Steelers' strengths play really well into the Bengals' weaknesses on defense. Steelers like to go into a lot of 12 personnel, and I actually saw that shout out Clev TA on Twitter, but he said that the Bengals' defense is the worst in the NFL against 12 personnel. So could be a bit of a mismatch in the AFC North brouhaha on Amazon Prime tonight. Excited to check that one out. But before Ryan gets back, I guess we'll figure out some ways how to make some money this week. Um, there are a bunch of promos already out there. I was looking at FanDuel before, and I believe there was a boost on tonight's game. I just want to double check. Let me bring it up right now. How do I share my screen? Fly like an eagle into the sea. All right. There are a bunch of promos. So FanDuel's got a 30% boost tonight. I'm going to walk you through how exactly you could profit off that boost no matter what. So let me just bring up ProfitDuel right now. And I will share my screen. All right. So there is a 30% boost on there's ProfitDuel. There's a 30% boost on FanDuel tonight. So what you're going to want to do is obviously open up ProfitDuel, open up the boost matcher. I have a $100 max on FanDuel right now on this boost. 30% boost, change it to $100 max. It's on tonight's game. So Bengals, bada bing, bada boom. Obviously, you're going to have to lay a lot of money here, as no side of a touchdown bet. It can be a lot, especially at those odds. But you can walk away with an easy $25 plus here. If you obviously bet, if you want to look for something where you're going to have to lay less money, may interest you in the Darnell Washington anytime touchdown market. But yeah, you can make anywhere from $18 to $28 here, no matter what. You don't even have to watch the game. So easy way to make some cash. There is a bunch of other opportunities to check out. Let's see what DraftKings has to offer tonight. Quickly, I'm hoping Ryan's able to get back on in the next few minutes. I don't know what happened to him. Oh, there's a 50% boost on DraftKings tonight, which is very nice. Welcome to the party, DraftKings. So 50% boost. I have a $50 max here, but again, everyone maxes are going to vary across the sports books based on your kind of how you're segmented by the sports book. So your max wagers will always vary. If you have a $100 max, you could easily make an easy $50 plus here tonight. Since I have a $50 max, I can make probably around $26 tonight. So it looks like this is the highest rated. This is the highest rated opportunity. So if I go into Profit Duel, put in the DraftKings Profit Boost, $50 max wager, I'm going to walk away with at least half of that in profit, and I don't even have to watch the game. Profit Duel suggests that I place the Profit Boost on DraftKings Sportsbooks on Ja'Marr Chase anytime touchdown. First touchdown, excuse me, and place a coinciding bet on no vig, which is excellent, by the way, on the no, and boom, you're walking away with $26 at least, and you don't even have to watch the game. It doesn't even matter if he scores first. It is that simple, folks. Ryan just texted me. Yes, just answering him in the background, but that's how you can make an easy $26. Ryan, welcome back. Are you good?
Good. Yeah, I hope so. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Not sure what happened there, but good to have you. Now you're not good. Hello? Yeah, it says your mic is not connected, if that helps. Still don't hear it. All right, we'll see you in a sec. All right, back to this. So it seems like Ryan's still enduring some technical difficulties. But again, Profit Duel shows you exactly what to bet, where to bet, and how much to bet. So if you want to use your DraftKings 50% profit boost on tonight's Thursday night football game, come on over to the Profit Duel Boost Matcher, and we'll show you exactly how to make guaranteed money no matter what. So there's already opportunities in the marketplace. You could take the boost on Ja'Marr Chase first touchdown on DraftKings, place a coinciding bet on him not to score the first touchdown on no vig, and you're going to walk away with an easy $26.75 no matter what. This is just one of the ways you can use Profit Duel to your advantage to make a lot of cash this football season. I have no idea what's going on with Ryan's mic, but hopefully I'll just be able to steer the ship from here. Sucks that we won't be able to get his leans because he's going to he was running hot the last few weeks, but I'll hopefully steer us in the right direction here. Let me check out if there's any other boosts we could get a hold of here. So there's an unlimited home run boost on DraftKings, but for some reason I can't open it on my computer tab. So I'm going to take a look on my phone. Let's see what we got here. Loading it up. I'm sweating. The heat, they refuse to turn the air back on in my building. It's not great for your boy here. I know it's pretty chilly outside, but I run hot. I keep the AC on in the winter. Well, now I can't. But all right, so there's 25% boost on home run bets tonight in the MLB on DraftKings. So what we're going to want to do here is obviously change the profit boost. I have the same max. Go to markets. Well, first let's go to sport, MLB. Market. It's a home run market. Batter home runs. All right, so you can make an easy $7.53 tonight if you play this boost. All you have to do is put the boost on Julio Rodriguez anytime home run on DraftKings, place the coinciding bet on no vig, and boom, you walk away with a $7.50. If you want to get yourself a nice pumpkin spice latte, highly recommend you do this. It's free. But yeah, just some easy ways to make some money tonight. So you can make $26 on that Thursday night football boost with DraftKings. You can make another $18 on FanDuel. That comes out to $44. So if you play this home run boost, that comes out to $51. And that's how much money you can make before any of the Thursday night football or ALCS or NLCS games even kick off tonight. That's just playing 3 boosts, folks. That's 1 day of work. That's literally took us 10 minutes. It's 12:10. We started 10 minutes ago. You just made $51 if you've been following along. You do that every single day, you're golden. Ryan, you're back? Are you working?
Can you hear me?
We could hear you. Welcome back.
I think I'm good now. I think I'm officially good.
What happened there?
I don't know. I think something was muted on my or something wasn't working with my actual like computer speakers, so I just had to plug in like an external speaker and use that for now, and I'm going to troubleshoot it after to figure out why it's just not working in general.
Okay.
No,
Well, good to have you back. I just made our audience an easy $51 by playing tonight's Thursday Night Football boost on FanDuel, the Thursday Night Football boost on DraftKings, and tonight's home run boost on DraftKings. So if you play all three and you had a $50 max on DraftKings and a $100 max on FanDuel, you just made yourself an easy 51 buckaroos before any of the events even kick off.
oh, sweet. Heck yeah. I miss all the good stuff.
Well, it's okay. Well, the good stuff, the people come to watch you for your picks, so we haven't even got into those yet. But it's good to see you. It's good to have you have your microphone working. While you were gone, I was saying it's crazy. It's already mid-October. It's week 7. The season's flying by. Playoff picture starting to unfold a bit. Obviously, we're still a ways away from that, but look, we're almost at the midway point through the season, which is crazy. We got a big matchup tonight. We got the Battle of the Unks, which is just an unbelievable way to market tonight's game. 40-year-old Joe Flacco against 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers. It's going to be a doozy, an AFC North battle. You have a lean on tonight's game?
My lean for tonight, actually, I think the market opened at 4.5. It kind of juggled. It's now at 5.5. I actually got the Steelers at 4.5, and I think you could still get them potentially at 4.5 on ESPN, or at least when I looked this morning. So I took the Steelers minus 4.5. I will note, like in the last, I saw a tweet that in the last 2 weeks, the underdogs are 6-1 straight up and against the spread in primetime games.
Yep.
So we'll see, but I think I like the pendulum to swing back a little bit. We've had too much chaos on Thursday night and Monday Night Football in the last 2 weeks, so I think it'll swing back, and I think the Steelers cover 4.5. Weirdly enough, I'm not really like that bullish on the Steelers for the rest of the season, but I just think that they are playing good football right now. Rodgers does kind of have them rolling a little bit, so we'll see. We'll see if they can keep it going, and they hate the Bengals, so there's. They seem to always get the job done against them, and they hate the Bengals. So I think they're just the more talented football team here, and they'll get it done tonight.
It's it is crazy, Aaron Rodgers, and look. There was no doubt he could still thread the needle, but he cannot move. I'm not sure how much you watched of last week's game or any of the other Steelers games, but he just can't move. But he looks great, obviously throwing the football. Look, there was no doubt he could still throw the ball. It's just obviously, I mean, there was no point in bringing him back for the Jets. They stunk regardless, with or without him. So I like watching Aaron Rodgers play good football. I have no ill will against him as a Jets fan. Sucks, obviously, what happened here, him tearing his Achilles 4 plays into his Jets tenure, but that's life. So will be it. It would be very classic of him and the Steelers to have an incredible year. It'd basically be like Brett Favre 2.0, where have Brett Favre started out really hot. The Jets were the best team in football, and then tore his bicep and didn't tell anyone. And then they collapsed down the stretch. And then went to the Vikings and had an incredible season where they lost in the NFC Championship game in Bounty Gate. But it would be no surprise if the Steelers went on to the playoffs and obviously made a little bit of a run, honestly. The AFC also stinks. So it's open for them to do it. The division is wide open for them. And did you actually know that the Pittsburgh Steelers, as of today, I just want to pull this up before I get it wrong. So give me a second.
Go ahead.
Remarkably enough, the Pittsburgh Steelers are 4-1, and the next best record in their division is the Bengals, I believe, who are 2-4, and are on a 4-game losing streak, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the Pittsburgh Steelers are only minus 160 to win the AFC North, and the Baltimore Ravens are right behind them at 1-5 to win the AFC North at plus 170, which is pretty crazy. I thought that was a bit fascinating.
Yeah, they were like 2 weeks ago. The Steelers were still plus 130 when Lamar first went down. The Steelers were still plus 130 to win the division.
Yep.
If you do look at the Steelers' schedule for the rest of the season, though, they kind of have a gauntlet. They've had some not I don't want to say easy games so far, but they have a little bit of a gauntlet on the back half, and I think it's a lot of in division games too. That and they have to get past a lot of good teams. And if Lamar comes back healthy and they go on a run, I think that was the thought there at the time. But the Ravens have just looked like they haven't had a pulse without Lamar. And I think they anticipated 2 weeks ago to Steelers to lose one of these upcoming games, and they've won them both. And now I think that's kind of pushed them into that driver's seat. But again, the Ravens when they have Lamar are a team to be reckoned with in the North. So we'll see if he can do it.
Well, I believe so. This is honestly not a must win, but this would be a really bad loss if obviously the Steelers don't win tonight. But because I believe they play the Packers next week in prime time, so Aaron Rodgers against his old team. Um, and I believe I think they have the Colts and then the Chargers, and then they play the Bengals again, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up.
They've got a little tough sledding the next 3 weeks. So obviously don't want to look ahead past the Bengals because look, the Bengals still do have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. And yes, while Joe Flacco is a corpse, he probably is an upgrade over Jake Browning. But again, the Bengals defense does absolutely suck. Their own line is porous. So the Steelers should be able to get after the Bengals tonight. I took the over 44 tonight. So rooting for points. Aside from that, I don't really have a lean on any side, but that's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, no, I mean, hopefully we get some points and we get a good game. Joe Flacco looked like he sort of revived Jamar Chase's fantasy season last week. So hopefully that continues and the Bengals offense starts to roll a little bit. I mean, hey, I'd like to see the Bengals beat the Steelers tonight just for chaos, but and for my bet purposes, I think I'm on the side. I'm on the side of the Steelers. I saw Profit X actually posted a market for a head-to-head rushing prop between Flacco and Aaron Rodgers. I think that would be a fun one to get in on. Which one of those two will run for more yards in this game? I think both their totals are at like a half or 1.5 yards. So I mean, you're pushing. Hopefully, one of them doesn't kneel at the end of the game and get negative yards, and you lose 0 to -2.
Oh yeah, that is pretty good. Interesting. I might have to play that. I think I'll take Rodgers though.
I think Rodgers is definitely going to be the favorite there because he does move a little bit more than Flacco, but
Up. Let me pull this up. Let me just take a look. Where would it be under rushing yards?
I'm probably in like their hold on. I actually retweeted the tweet that they put it up on. I think it's usually under specials, NFL specials. It's under Casey.
Okay, hold on. Let me
See if there's any liquidity in the market.
pull this up. NFL specials. Okay. Am I being stupid? Where is it? Oh,
Right there. Yeah, so all right. I mean, $50 a Rodgers minus 130. I think the scare there ends up being if Rodgers does kneel.
yes. I also saw this before. So that you can get, if you like Joe Flacco, I think you just take this, by the way. Because I was looking here before. I think you take him over a half yard at plus 122.
Yeah.
Much better price, and you just need him to get 1 yard. But again, if Rodgers has like -2 yards, you also win that other market if Flacco is 0. But I don't know. Just spitballing here. I don't think I'm going to dive into this market, but if you like to get frisky and you want to have some fun and bet on two unks, as the kids say, tossing pigskin across the yard, there you go. Anyways, let's jump past Thursday Night Football and look towards Sunday. Who's your favorite chalk play of the week?
This week I took them like a while ago. Actually, the number didn't. I took them at last week, and the number didn't move in my favor. But I'm gonna stay on it. I think it might still close my favor, but I'm on the Eagles this week to win. I think they're gonna have a bounce back performance after losing to the Giants, and That's who I have as my chalk play this week. I think they're 1.5 point favorites right now. Let me peek at it. Yeah, 1.5 point favorites against the Vikings, who are maybe getting JJ McCarthy back. I think him and Carson Wentz are splitting snaps in practice right now, and he might come back for week 7, might not come back for week 7, which I think it bodes well for the Eagles if McCarthy is in there. So we'll see kind of what happens. But I'm going to take the Eagles to win this game against the Vikings this week.
I'm actually currently looking at an odd screen, and the Vikings Eagles game, it just keeps flickering back and forth between 1.5 and 2.5 points, like in literally the last 60 seconds alone.
Yeah, I took them at minus 130 like a week and a half ago, and now it's at minus 125, I think best. So I'm hoping that it closes in my favor, but I thought I was going to get a good number and it was going to be even better, but nope, wasn't the case.
Okay. We could have a Carson Wentz revenge game. Keep that in mind.
I didn't even think about that.
Them, though. Honestly, I was eyeing 2 favorites, but I can't get beat by Jackson Dart for the second week in a row, so I'm going to stay off Denver. But I do think Denver should have a much better showing than they did last week against the lowly Jets, but they're not my chalk play of the week. For my chalk play of the week, give me the Lions laying 5 points at home in prime time against the NFC number 1 seed currently, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think this is just a tough matchup right now for Tampa Bay, who is arguably down to their 5th and 6th strings wideouts, and will still be without running back Bucky Irving. I know Mike Evans, it seems like he's iffy to play, so he probably will play if I had to guess. But I just think that Tampa Bay is very vulnerable right now. And you combine that with the fact they have a leaky defense at the moment in the secondary. And I'll take Detroit. Sure, the Lions secondary is banged up too, and they'll be without Brian Branch after his post-game shenanigans against the Chiefs for this one. But the Bucs are just missing so many weapons. It's going to be hard to, I would say, keep up with the Lions in this one. So I think the Lions being without a lot of their guys in the secondary, especially their leader, Brian Branch, that's a trade-off I'm willing to live with because the Bucs also are without their arguably 4 top receivers. I think Detroit gets right at home after a tough Sunday night loss against Kansas City. So
they have MVP Tez Johnson on their
MVP Tez Johnson. That was a great video. I actually had Tez Johnson in a big touchdown parlay last week where we hit 3 of 4, and there were 2 different parlays. He was in both. He was he was like 4.5 to 1 or something like that. But we kind of also got screwed because Jacoby Myers didn't score. But it would have been a nice Sunday.
Raiders offense is just tough. Maybe he'll be traded in 3 weeks and he can get a little bump.
Yeah, but too bad 3 weeks from now it doesn't impact last week's bet. But
yeah, of course. I'm just saying in general.
Yes. We'll see what happens. Trade deadline is approaching. Who's your underdog play of the week? Don't have to win. Don't have to pull the upset. Which dog do you like to cover?
Crazy. To cover this week, I like the Tennessee Titans. I think you can get them still at +7 against the Patriots to cover a touchdown. They just fired their coach. So who knows? You kind of have the Vrabel revenge game narrative there as well. But I think they've been a bad football team, obviously, for a while. But and the Patriots look like they're first in the AFC East right now, right? And they look like they're much improved, and Drake May looks like he could potentially be like a perennial MVP candidate at this point. So everything's screaming the Patriots cover this game, and that kind of is why I'm on the Titans here to cover the touchdown. So the opposite logic there.
Drake May is awesome. In theory, the Titans should be much better off with Brian Callahan gone, who is the worst coach since Hugh Jackson. Brian Callahan is the 23rd in-season coaching casualty in the past decade. Those prior 22 teams actually are 11-11 against the spread in their first game post-firing. So just a small little nugget for you folks at home. But if you like the Titans, roll with Ryan. But Mike Vrabel, he's out for blood. Just remember that.
Yeah, that
And
part scares me.
he wouldn't be afraid to run it up on them.
No, I agree. I mean, some of these spots I think where I tend to historically like fade the noise in general. I think a lot of people have the feeling of the Vrabel going back. There's been a lot of quotes this week where he's going to be not be afraid to run it up, and them going back and the Patriots being really good. I tend to fade those spots where people are very very like high on a bigger favorite. So that's kind of part of my logic for going with with the Titans here.
Cool. All right. Well,
We'll see.
I don't know which one I want to go with, but I've made two bets. I'll give them both out. First off, I think I like the Jacksonville Jaguars getting a field goal across the pond. Start your Sunday early with a little tea and crumpets as the Jags take the field at beautiful Wembley Stadium in London, which is basically Jacksonville's second home at this point. I believe it's their 14th overseas game, and it's Trevor Lawrence's 7th. So
it's crazy.
They're familiar with that territory. Also, head coach Liam Cohen gets a shot at his old boss, Sean McVay. And the Rams are going to be without superstar Puka Nacua. So I'm going to take the 3 points here across the pond.
No, I like that too. I actually have a little bit of Jack's money line as well.
I have another gross one. Like I'm a little scared to say this one out loud, honestly. It's not the Jets, but give
Raiders.
me what?
Is it the Raiders?
No, it's not the Raiders. The Raiders are bad, but the Raiders plus 12. Maybe
12's a lot of points. I know. And they beat them last year, right? But that was last year, and they won on the last second field goal. Or was it 2 years ago?
That was Christmas 2 years ago, but they might have also beat them last year.
I think they beat them last year too, because I think that was a big deal in Survivor. Maybe I'm off there. I thought it was like weeks similar timing, like week 6.
It was 2020.
2 years ago.
It was Christmas 2023. Yeah, when they won on by 6, and then they stupidly kept Antonio Pierce after his 6-2 interim record or meaningless, but whatever. Give me the New Orleans Saints plus 5.5. I think the New Orleans Saints are a lot better than they look to the public eye. I think if you look under the hood, the 1-5 record can fool you a bit. Outside of that ass whooping in Seattle in week 3, they've actually been in every single game, and they've played some pretty decent opponents. And if you really look into the numbers a bit more and dive a little deeper, the Saints actually rank better than the Chicago Bears in both net yards per play and success rate. And Spencer Rattler is not terrible. The offense is pretty feisty with him at the helm, and they're going to face a Chicago defense that's allowing a 49% success rate. So give me the Saints with the points at Soldier Field. Pretty gross.
Yeah,
I know.
No, it's not too bad. I mean, I feel like we've been on here a couple times. I've been on the Saints. I think 3 of their 6 weeks at this point. So I've kind of been backing them all season. It is funny though, because I actually right as we were speaking, I put in right before you said that I had just put in a bet for the Bears to cover 4.5 or 4 or whatever it was just that. But the Saints are much better than anticipated. I think if you're if Spencer Rattler was a little bit of a higher pick, in the draft you might be talking about him as you're the guy that they're going to keep or give a longer leash. But he was obviously a late pick, and people are just kind of dismissing him. I don't think he's anything outrageous, but he's not really the problem in New Orleans at the current moment, and they're playing kind of good football. But we'll see if also Chris Olave gets traded or something happens with him, because hopefully that won't happen this week, but I guess you never know.
Look, even if he does get traded, Rashid Shaheed's a stud in my eyes. But we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty gross though. What's your best bet of the weekend?
My best bet of the week, I was trying to get it in, but something is, I guess, I don't know if anyone else in the audience having this issue. PayPal is apparently down or something. PayPal and Venmo right now. Trying to deposit into FanDuel. PayPal is my main my main source, and something's going on with PayPal at the current moment, which is driving me nuts. But I'm actually going to take the number was at between 194.5 and 197.5 when I last looked. It was 197.5 on softer books, and FanDuel had at 194.5, and that's Dylan Gabriel under on his passing yards on Sunday against the Dolphins. The Dolphins are probably one of the worst teams against the run in football. Like I've been seeing tons of tweets and stuff that everyone's like RB1 for the week is pretty much just whoever the Dolphins are going up against. Vidal just put up like hadn't barely played a game this year and just put up 125 yards on them last week. So I think that the Browns are kind of going to stick to that script and go ahead and run Judkins a lot and get him going again because he had a rough game last week. And Dylan Gabriel threw the ball like 60 times for like 150 yards last week, which is just absurd.
Yeah, it was. Watching that, I watched the whole game. It was disgusting. I don't hate it. My prop bet is actually equally as disgusting. Give me Mason Taylor over 38.5 receiving yards.
Someone has to catch.
So Garrett Wilson obviously is going to be sidelined for this one. It looks like the Jets receiver room is not great. Me and you are basically being trotted out there. So I expect that rookie tight end Mason Taylor does see a spike in usage. Also, it helps that the Panthers have been absolutely atrocious defending tight ends, allowing a median of 64 yards to opposing starters this season. So I expect Mason Taylor to be a focal point in the passing game on Sunday. We just have to hope that the Jets do not have negative 10 passing yards once again this week. But yeah, give me Mason Taylor over receiving yards.
Fields claims he has to be more aggressive with throwing the ball. I just saw a quote before. I don't know if that means I don't know exactly what that means coming from him, but you would hope that he throws the ball to Mason Taylor because they got like 10 catches combined for all the other guys on the season that are going out there. It's insane.
Something tells me that if he hasn't changed who he is in his first 4.5 NFL football years, that just suddenly won't change in week 7 of his 5th season. But we'll see.
No, I'm also actually looking to the Dylan Gabriel prop. It was literally like right before we started the stream, it was at 194 and 197. It's now down to 190.5. So now I'm just mad at myself that I did not get that in. So that one's on PayPal.
It's not a great board this week. But look, yeah, those are our picks. We're sticking to it. Have you followed the New York State casino fiasco by any chance?
I've seen some stuff. I saw you comment on it the other day. I don't know exactly what happened. What did Bet MGM pulled out of like something? Is that what happened?
It's yeah, pretty much. So if you follow sports betting or for those at home, if you follow sports betting or iGaming in New York, it should be absolutely no surprise that the downstate casino process has turned into an absolute mess. It's remarkable how poorly this has been handled, and the folks running the show have no idea what's going on, it feels like. And it all seems pretty predictable, Ryan. But yeah, when the 3 biggest names in brick and mortar gambling, I believe Wynn, Sands, and MGM have all either withdrawn their bids or not gotten approved, something tells me this has just been a pretty crappy process. Obviously, and as you know, New York makes it nearly impossible to operate with sky-high tax rates. They have shifting goalposts, and shockingly, there's endless political red tape. So it's pretty crazy to me that anyone would actually willingly invest billions of dollars when the state keeps moving the goalposts. But yeah, BetMGM had withdrawn their bid. And what's crazy is that casino, Empire City in Yonkers, which was going to be a BetMGM licensed one, was definitely going to be chosen as one of the 3 casinos. So instead of using this process to create real economic drivers across Long Island, New York City, the Bronx, Westchester, you name it, we're going to end up with potentially multiple casinos within a 15-mile radius of each other in 2 very touristy hotbed areas, Jamaica, Queens, Flushing, Queens, and the Bronx, New York. So it seems like this is going to work out brilliantly for the state of New York. And to make matters even worse, the front runners who are attached to these casinos are Bally's, Resorts World, who are companies that have existing properties in Vegas, upstate New York, and Chicago that are either underwater or stalling. Like at least Hard Rock and Flushing and the Seminoles know exactly what they're doing. They're a very well run organization, but the whole casino downstate process in New York is just hilarious to me because it just sums up New York perfectly, right? There's massive politics at play. There's big promises that won't be delivered on, and there's just basically zero long-term vision. So it just seems like it's a $1 billion opportunity that's been wasted, and that's my long-winded rant.
Jeez. That was a lot to unpack, but yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, it's nuts.
it's wild,
It
but
is nuts.
well, if you go to Jamaica, Queens, you can go gamble probably. But if you go to New York City, you're gonna have to either hop on the 7 train or hop in a car and take the ferry to Ferry Point. But yeah, but look, I think a casino at City Field would be pretty cool. I think that's a good place to put one, but it's crazy to me there won't be a casino in Long Island or New York City or like at least on the Westchester Bronx border where Empire City would have been. But I'm not the one in charge here. I'm not the one making these decisions. And yeah, good luck to everyone who out there attaching their names to this. But also, it's going to be hilarious when New York State launches iGaming like in 2026. That just significantly will affect the economics of these brick and mortar casinos as well.
You think that's gonna happen?
I don't know, but it would be absolutely hilarious if it did, and I would expect nothing less, honestly.
Yeah. Interesting.
We'll see. But look, I'm not the person to listen to on this. If you're out there and you want to learn more, I highly recommend you follow Chris Altruda, who's great, and it's got his ear to the ground on all this stuff. So shout out to him. Anything else before we head off?
Two things. One, do we think that our our Jets get their first win this week? We
Um,
don't like talking about them anymore, but if it's gonna come, it's got to come in these 3 weeks. This is a 3 week stretch or 4 week stretch, right? We have the Panthers, the Bengals, and the Browns in the next 4 weeks. So it's got to come in one of these weeks. Otherwise, we're gonna be staring 0-17 in the face.
yeah, look, I think if they win this week, it's time to start thinking playoffs with the schedule they have coming. I'm kidding there, but real talk, I do think that they could definitely win this week. The Panthers are seemingly a very different team on the road than at home.
Insane.
The Jets actually remarkably opened as 2.5 point favorites at home this week against the Panthers. But you fast forward a few days, and Carolina has now flipped to a 1 point favorite. I would be remiss if I didn't mention Carolina hasn't won as a favorite since September of 2021. So
I guess my only question there would be how many times in that time frame have they been favorites?
look,
Can't be many, right?
it would be bad podcasting or video, whatever, streaming if I went ahead and looked that up in the background right now. So I'm not going to go ahead and do that. But it is pretty crazy that the Panthers haven't won or covered as a favorite in over 4 years. But again, I don't know off the top of my head how many times they have been favorites in that time. However, I would have to think it's been more than 10 or something like that. I mean, 4 years, you got to think they've been favored maybe 2 games a year in that. So call it 8. I don't know. But yes, I do think the Jets can win. Will they win? I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to correctly prognosticate what the New York Football Jets are going to do because that's just a silly job and waste of energy and time. But look, the Jets can beat this Panthers team. Their schedule does soften up a bit. They've got the Bengals next week, then they got the Browns after their bye. So look, if you get one, maybe you get 2, and then you get 3. As the great Lou Brown, former Cleveland Indians fictional manager, once said, 3 games, that's a winning streak. We'll see what happens, but they got to crawl before they can walk. So get one first here.
The only reason I mentioned it is I was looking, I saw the line movement. And it looks like DK's hanging, DraftKings is hanging like a decent line on the Jets. It looks like the market's kind of settled at like minus 106, plus 106, and DK has plus 110 on the Jets. So if I was going to take a bite, I think I would bite there, but I am scared to fade the steam of the Panthers quickly moving to favorites after that line opened.
Yeah,
It's a similar
I,
situation to the Saints and the Giants a
it
couple
is.
weeks ago when that happened, and pretty much the same point spread movement happened. And I was on the Saints, so it scares me, but I might end up being on the Panthers just based on that.
That's why I kind of like the John. That's why I like. I thought about taking the Jets, but I was like, I'm not going to go do this. You're just subjecting yourself to some misery on top of being a fan already. So I already have the emotional damages. I don't need the financial damages as well from the Jets.
Yeah.
So we're going to cut our losses there. But we'll see what happens. It's crazy. It's week 7 already.
Yeah. No, I know. I mean, I financially backed the Jets on Sunday and went to the game and everything, and they closed as favorites in that one, and that we all know that how that went. So
The
or not Sunday,
Cowboys,
sorry. So
not
Cowboys game. Sorry. We all know how that went. I apologize. I did not go to London. I wish I was in London, but after that, watching that game, I had wanted no part of being in person at that football game. That was gross.
Yeah. So I've backed them. I bet on them. What week did I bet on them? I bet on them week 1 because I was there, and I bet on them week 3 against the Bucks. They did cover both those, I will say.
But, yeah, hey, you'll take it.
I will take it, but we'll see what happens. Look, they can win this week. We'll see. Defense has to play very well like they did last week, which was encouraging to see. It's great to have Jermaine Johnson back. Jarvis Brownlee was a real just dog out there, which the Jets have lacked. He was all over the field. He brought a lot of juice and energy. So good to see that trade from the Titans is already paying some dividends, and hopefully that continues. Any baseball thoughts before we go?
I haven't been watching as much as I should. The Dodgers seem to just be taking care of business like the Dodgers do. I've tuned in, had it on in the background. I saw the Blue Jays kind of exploded offensively last night. I think their coach said that they needed to start taking some more uppercuts, and they teed off yesterday with their lineup. So home runs win baseball games. But the Dodgers seem to be taking care of business. I have a Dodgers future, so I think I'm monetarily involved in rooting for the Dodgers, even though I don't know who I'd like to see win, but that's kind of where I am at. I don't think the Brewers ever stood a chance, unfortunately. Just with how the baseball they played, they just didn't hit the ball hard all season, and that doesn't really bode well in today's MLB. So
we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't really care who wins here. The Blue Jays, seemingly heightened the risk profile last night at the plate and were rewarded very handsomely for it. So they changed their approach a bit. Yeah, I think the Dodgers are just going to steamroll everyone else left in the field, as you've seen through games 1 and 2. I mean, the Brewers were even lucky to be in game 1 because of that insane double play. So I think that
was a blunder.
Despite that series being 2-1 in game 1 and then obviously blow it in game 2, the Brewers are getting absolutely dismantled through 2 games. But we'll see what happens at Chavez Ravine. Would you like some Yankees updates that are going on right now in Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman's postmortem press conference?
You can do it. I've actually just I felt my watch vibrate with some texts about the Yankees. I haven't looked.
There's a laundry list of things. I'll just rattle them off. So Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman, the 2 Supreme Court justices who have lifetime contracts with the New York Yankees, are giving their annual press today, where they basically say the postseason's a crapshoot. They trust their process because, they've won so much in the last 15 plus years. But I'll rattle them off really quickly before I go and have lunch. Aaron Judge will not need surgery. Something tells me that is wrong, and that will probably change at some point in the future. Carlos Rodon had a bone spur shaved from his left elbow. That's his throwing elbow. That's not great. So he's expected to be a few weeks delayed to start 2026. Anthony Volpe, as we all know, just had left shoulder labrum surgery and will likely miss the start of 2026. That stinks. Hopefully they bring in some competition for him. Jason Dominguez expected to play regularly next season. That's good. Garrett Cole, elbow, won't be ready for opening day. That's as expected. He had Tommy John surgery, I believe, on March 12th, so he should probably be back around Memorial Day, if I had to guess. And Clark Schmidt can return in the second half of next season. So not the greatest news we just received, but a few things we didn't know and a few things we didn't know, like Rodon needing a bone spur shave from his throwing elbow. That's not great. No, we'll see what happens.
I mean, also like the Judge update, I want to say is good, but it scares me. It's one of those classic things. The season ends, and then come spring training, all of a sudden they're like, "Oh yeah, actually the injury was worse than it was, and he needs surgery," when he could have just freaking got it right now, and and he could start the season perfectly fine. Like, I hope that's not the case. That was the case with Stanton this year. So I really hope that that is not the case with Judge, because clearly for the Yankees, he needs to be playing baseball, or they don't really stand a chance in competing. And they need him in the outfield too, so Stanton can play DH. So that's kind of the way the team's constructed. So he can't be in a position where he can't play the field either.
Yeah, I hope Judge is okay, and I hope he doesn't actually need surgery, and I hope he's actually gotten some second, third, and fourth, and fifth opinions outside of Yankee medical staff. You know what? Maybe I'll go pay him a visit. I know exactly where he lives. He's right around the corner from me. So we'll see how that elbow's feeling with his. But that's Ryan. I'm Casey. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
See you, everyone.